Something has quietly changed in professional wrestling. AEW isn't dominating headlines right now, and there hasn't been one massive shocking moment that forced everyone to pay attention, yet across social media and fan discussions, one phrase keeps appearing in some shape or form. AEW suddenly feels a little different again. Today we are not guessing, and we are not doing tribalism or tribalistic talk. We are going to look at some of the matches that have happened in AEW as of recent. We're going to talk about some events and whether it was Dynamite or Collision, and talk about some real fan reactions to understand why the conversation has started and whether this momentum is actually real and maybe a warning sign for WWE. Welcome back to the Tea Drop. Strong brew, no soft behavior. For a while, many fans felt AEW had lost some of its early energy from the 2019 era. Shows sometimes felt inconsistent, stories didn't always connect, and the pacing could feel uneven. But beginning around mid-February of this year, and even so a little before that, something subtle started to shift. The shows began to flow differently. The main event felt more important, and fans started recommending episodes to each other again, which is great. I wish fans don't go tribalistic and instead share their thoughts. But anyway, so instead of arguing opinions, let's walk through the exact matches that changed the conversation one by one. At least the matches that I see heavily on highlights and been talked about in discussion forums. So let's start with the first one. We're going to talk about Swerve Strickland versus Kenny Omega, the match that some say started the turn of more conversations about positive talk about AEW as of recent. And this is a match that happened. If you guys want to go watch it, if you have HBO Max or I guess Amazon Prime, you can watch it through the AEW Dynamite episode on February 18, 2026. On February 18, Dynamite presented a single main event match between Swerve Strickland and Kenny Omega. And this match immediately felt different from what viewers had been used to seeing. The pacing was serious, the atmosphere felt big, and the presentation treated the match like something meaningful rather than just another television segment. And when the match ended, the story continued instead of stopping. The post-match angle pushed things forward and gave viewers a reason to care about what happened next, making them watch the next Dynamite and hopefully forward and forward. The combination matters because when fans feel like weekly televisions have real stakes, they stop watching passively like me and start paying attention again. This was the first moment where viewers started saying, okay, maybe AEW is finding its rhythm again. But one match doesn't create momentum by itself. The real test is whether the next show builds on it, and that's exactly what happened. A 10-man tag team main event happened on AEW Dynamite this week on February 25th, 2026, for those who want to rewatch it. A week later after the previous Dynamite closed, this Dynamite closed with a chaotic 10-man tag team match featuring the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, the Rascalz, FTR, Ricochet, and the Gates of Agony. This match moved fast. It felt unpredictable, and most importantly, the crowd never cooled off. The energy was high from beginning to end, and when the show ended, something interesting happened online. Fans, for the most part, weren't just talking about the show. They started recommending it again. People were saying things like to go out of their way to watch the main event, which is a major shift, because when wrestling fans start telling others to watch an episode, that's when AEW's momentum starts becoming real and realistic. And the interesting thing is, it wasn't only the main event that worked in this week's Dynamite. Even the smaller structural decisions started to feel more intentional when it came to AEW developing their storylines and their shows going forward. An example of this is Jon Moxley opening AEW Dynamite with a match. Earlier that same night, Jon Moxley opened the show with a physical, intense match that immediately energized the audience. It became an important match at this point because momentum is not created by unspectacular moment. It is created by a consistent flow. A strong opener tells viewers that the show is going to matter for you. Keep watching. It establishes the tone and keeps people engaged long enough to reach the bigger moments later in the broadcast. And for the first time in a while, Dynamite felt structured again, like a complete wrestling show, rather than a collection of segments or even important matches. The momentum also comes from emotional investment when it came to this show. Fans need to feel like storylines continue week after week, and that brings us to the one of the most important moments of the month, which if you don't think it's obvious, well, it's one of the main obvious ones. But let's start with the first one. We're going to talk about the power continuity and the Thunder Rosa returning match against Julia Hart on February 21st of Collision. Now, all these matches, I read online that they were good, and I eventually just went back to HBO Max, and because I have HBO Max, I watched the shows and those episodes. I don't know many people that say I watch AEW Collision passionately, but when someone says there was a good match in AEW Collision, you gotta watch it yourself. So on February 21st last weekend, Thunder Rosa returned to the ring after more than 200 days away. The match itself was solid, but the real story was the emotional reaction from the crowd. When returns feel meaningful, fans feel rewarded for staying invested. This moment reminded viewers that AEW can still create emotional continuity, sometimes something many fans feel have been missing during the previous years and even the slower months. And once that audience start trusting the storytelling again, even divisions that felt cold can suddenly come alive. So we move on to the next big segment the next big match that these past couple weeks, which was another Collision match, which was a tag team energy. Like to me, it's a return to tag team AEW glory between FTR and the Rascalz. That same night on Collision, when Thunder Rosa returned, FTR faced the Rascalz in a match that quickly turned into something bigger. After the match, the feud escalated, tensions rose, and personal stakes were introduced involving the Young Bucks rivalry. This mattered because AEW's identity has always been heavily connected to the tag team division. When the tag wrestling feels important, long-time fans instantly notice, and that energy starts spreading through the rest of the show. Meanwhile, at the top of the card for AEW in general, another storyline has been quietly building that gives the whole product a stronger foundation. And this is the next big thing. The ongoing tension between Hangman Page and MJF has brought back something fans were craving. Personal stakes. With a Texas death match setup and career-level implications, the story feels serious instead of random. And when the main event scene feels meaningful, everything underneath feels bigger too. They're going to say, well, before the main event, I got to watch the other stuff. Hey, all this stuff is great. Why am I not watching AEW? When it goes on Wednesdays, bet. I'll go watch it going forward. I mean, what do you expect when MJF is around? MJF is like one of the greatest wrestlers, storytellers. He is all about perfection. If you didn't watch CVB's interview with him, it's a great one. He will do anything and everything to make his craft better. He has respect for it, and he is not going to take a nap on it. So he will always give you his 100%. Ultimately, the strongest evidence comes from the fan behavior. Discussion threads began filling with comments like, the show's feeling great again, best time to jump back in AEW, the main event was insane. Fans are not obligating to praising anything. And while it's coming, obviously it's always going to come from the side that prefers AEW. Some non-AEW consistent watchers are also talking about it. So when that tone shifts from criticism to excitement, we're getting somewhere, and something that WWE needs to start paying attention to. So what is actually happening? AEW hasn't reinvented itself. Instead, it has quietly returned to fundamentals from the early days. Strong opening matches, serious main event, ongoing stories. We're also getting loud, emotional continuity and crowd energy, And when all these pieces start lining up eventually together, everyone's perception changes quickly when it becomes about AEW. And wrestling fans feel momentum almost instantly. This is not about declaring AEW the best promotion in the world when it comes to this video. This is about recognizing that something is starting to click again for AEW. Fans are recommending episodes again, the crowd sounds alive, matches feel important again, and that is how momentum begins. Slowly, quietly, week by week. Now, I want your opinion, guys. Is AEW actually building real momentum again? Or are fans just reacting to a few great shows? Let me know in the comments in the video, and if you want more, let me know when it comes to AEW, and I will see you on the next video.